Nice to see everybody virtually. I call to order the Houston Land Bank Board of Directors regular meeting. It's Thursday, May 14th, 2020 at 12:15 p.m. Do roll calls starting in the virtual horseshoe. I believe Director Castillo would be on my far right.
Mario Castillo, board member.
I believe it would go to Ms. Galloway or Director Deonda.
Director Carol Galloway.
Jesus Deonda, board member.
Courtney Rose, board member.
Curtis Lampley, board member.
Vincent Marquez, board member.
Matt Zeiss, board member.
David Collins, board member.
Pastor Steve Hall, board member.
John David Vasquez, board member.
Nicholas Hall, board member. And I think
Tracy Signs, general counsel.
here we go. All righty. We'll go to item number 2 of the agenda, public speakers. I believe we have Mr. Mayberry signed up for public comments. I'd like to keep the comments to 3 minutes or less, please.
Yes, hi. Good afternoon to fellow board members and Mr. Chair. I'd like to thank you all for taking out some time. As a board member on several different boards myself, I know how precious time is, and to be able to give that time, really appreciative for us to revisit the appeal regarding the pricing. I'd like to start with acknowledging that it appeared after my review that was a mistake in the way that the numbers were laid out and what we've done, and since then, acknowledging the percentage, the difference of the percentage, we have revisited and revised the performer. The new performer, that I'm not certain if the board members have had an opportunity, Chair, to see the new performer, but the new performer now yields a number of about 12.7%. And for the board members, this is a performer that we've used for the last 17 years while doing business with the Housing Community Development Department. It's always had a line item for overhead and supervision. Quite honestly, we never had to use it. And that number was built into the line item that's called builder's profit. There lies the confusion. So what we've done is went in and did a number factor of 12.7%, reducing the builder's profit and utilizing the overhead and supervision line item. That's now at 2.3. So when you combine those, we're still what would be considered industry standard, the normal, at 15%. So hopefully the board will be gracious enough to take a look at the revised performer so that we might be able to get past this point and can do some building.
Any further comments?
That's it for my comment, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Mr. Mayberry. I'd also like to acknowledge that Director Stoneham is on the meeting. I can't see you, but I'm waving hi. So thank you for those comments. For sake of time, I'd actually like to call item number 9 out of order since we have Mr. Mayberry here, and I'd also like to have it in an open session. I believe the discussion is already started regarding the matter of price. So can I get a motion to call that number 9 out of order?
So moved.
Second.
Director Collins, second by Director Castillo. So I'll read item number 9, consideration and possible action for sales price modifications for the contracts with Mayberry Homes. It's items 1. So it's A and B. I'm going to read item A right now, but I'm calling them all together. Item A1, it's 9 Hoffman Street, contract number 07131704. That's 0 Hoffman HCAD. 066-025-0080805. It's HCAD 8-066-2500-80810. 066-025-0080811. 066-025-0080813. 066-025-0080812. 066-025-0080814. And then it's 0817. 0821, and then 066-025-0090-934. So that's item number A1. Moving forward, item number 9A2 and 3, it's contract number 09271601, which consists of HCAD 0092410000006. And then A3 is Selena and Zero Amboy, contract number 100911709, HCADs 0040360000004 and 0009.
Mr. Chair?
Yes.
Before, just a point of order. I needed just to find out who made the motion and seconded. Unfortunately, since everybody was kind of
David Collins
been
made
at
the
the same
motion.
time, I didn't get the chance to hear who did what. If the
It was Director Collins made the motion. It was seconded by Director Castillo.
okay, thank you.
And then 9B, consideration possible action as actually to be heard in executive session. So we're just doing 9A, 1, 2, 3. So I think we heard from Mr. Mayberry that there's been a change to make it reflect with the pro forma. Is there a motion to approve the second amended pro forma as submitted by Mr. Mayberry, and I believe is in our board packet?
Motion by David Collins.
Motion made by Director Collins,
Second by Courtney Rose.
second by Director Rose. Any discussion? 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 All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Alrighty. Items number 9A, 1, 2, 3 are approved. Thank you for your time, Mr. Mayberry. Please have a wonderful day.
Yes, and thank you, Mr. Chair, and certainly thank you to the board members. Thank you.
Thank you for all you do for the land bank.
Thank you,
Any
sir.
other public speakers? I believe there were none. Ann, do we have any additional public
No
speakers?
additional registered.
Okay. Item number 3, adopt the minutes from the April 9th, 2020 regular meeting. Your motion?
Motion to adopt the minutes.
Motion made by Director Castillo,
Second, Courtney Rose.
second by Director Rose. Any discussion? Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any corrections? Opposed?
I have a discussion.
Discussion on the minutes?
Director Galloway have a discussion.
Yes, Director Galloway.
Okay, my discussion was on the motion that was made I was trying to see in the minutes, did we bring it out to the public session from the executive session? Because that's when you're supposed to make the motion. But while I was reading the minutes, I noticed the motion for the property for the $120,000. It was 4 for, 3 abstentions, and 1 no. The other way around. I'm trying to pull up my minutes now.
Oh,
But-
no, take your time.
But anyway, the motion was not the majority, and I want to challenge that motion because per the rules that I had learned while serving on the board versus rules that govern councils and ordinance are separate. And because it was not a majority when you serve on the board and you have an item, it must be the majority. And abstentions does count as well as no. I could send some of the rules for Robert Rules to Gracie or someone to verify what I'm saying. And so that's what I have a question on that part of the minutes.
Ms. Galloway, would you mind pointing out what section of the minutes it is?
Okay.
It's the minutes are on page 10 of the board packet. When you look at the items on the lower left-hand side, it's executive session 11A, about 1100 Frawley, and the last paragraph talks about passed by a vote of 4-3-1 by the board.
Yes, right. That's it.
So Ms. Galloway, I think, are you
Well,
saying we need a majority of board vote or that the abstention
Yeah,
count? Or are you
yeah.
asking council to render an opinion regarding that?
I'm questioning the board vote as it passing because per board rules, it has to be a majority. This was a tie. It was not a majority. So my question as a board ruling versus as a council ruling, I served it on council and ordinance, those rules are governed different per Robert Rules of Order versus serving on the board because I have served on both of HLB Board as well as council. And my question is, I have a part of the copies of it that what I'm saying is it didn't, to me, it's a tie and it didn't pass. It was not a majority for a board ruling as a majority.
So Council Gracie,
Can't hear her.
can't hear you.
Got her mic off.
Gracie, you're on mute.
You.
Okay, there you are.
I will go ahead and look at that. It was my understanding that there was a majority out of the individuals that were voting on the issue. There was one abstention, it was 4-3. But
No.
I will look at that and
Gracie,
I understand the question, Ms. Calloway.
The question is, it was 8 of us.
Correct.
Okay? It was not a majority because there was 4 votes that did not register and 4 did. So that was a tie. Any motion that is a tie, it fails. When you have a tie vote, the motion fails. It never passes on a tie. So there was not a majority on the board item. The board item is a majority. It governs different. So it would have to have been 5 in order to pass, even if you had abstentions and no votes. But it did not have a majority of the body. Because there was 4 votes that did not, it just might as well been a no vote, even with the extension, because it was not the majority of the body.
Okay, I am looking this up right now.
Okay.
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 Thank you for bringing that to our attention, Director Galloway. Is there any further discussion on the minutes?
No.
How do we move forward with the motion? Is it subject to review of that particular item?
Yes.
Okay.
I'll accept that.
Let's see, Grace, I could send you, I have it already. I could perhaps, if I knew your text, I could text it to you because I've already went through, because I had recalled this once before when I was on the board. And that's the reason I checked it to verify.
Mr. Chair, she should take time and review it thoroughly and get back to us.
I agree. And we will do that.
Do we need a recalling of the motion such that it's clearly clarified as to what the motion is?
So I believe Director Collins just did a amended motion, and minutes approved subject to. We can get a second.
Correction of the minutes.
That'll be fine.
Let me ask Grace because she sent me her cell number and I can text you to her.
Ms. Galloway, I'm going to be sending you my number in a minute, okay?
Okay, text me your cell number if you have then I can text it to you. All right, dear. Thanks.
Thank you, Ms. Galloway. So we have an amended motion to approve the minutes subject to council review on the Frawley item. Can I get a second?
Second.
Second by Director Marquez. Any discussion? Further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Aye.
All righty. The minutes are entered subject to council review of the Frawley item. Good chairman's greeting, item number 4. Good afternoon, everybody, again. I'd like to actually take this time to do a prayer. Pastor Hall is kind enough to lead us in a moment of prayer for Councilmember Knox, the tragic loss in his family, and also for others in our family, the land bank, and extended families that are currently dealing with this COVID-19 and other related issues. So, Pastor Hall, if you would, please.
Let us take a moment and ask the Lord's favor. Merciful Savior, as we bow on today, we we approach your throne with the request. Our hearts are saddened. We thank you for the leadership and the service of Councilman Knox. His family now has experienced a death. We pray for him and his family as they experience this time of grief. But not only him, you understand, dear Lord, our concerns across the land. We have been concerned with the virus and all of its impacts upon us. And so we simply pause, and we're not ashamed to ask of your favor. You know best, dear Lord. And so give us the peace that surpasses all understanding. Give us healing where it is warranted, and help us in such a time as this. And we'll be grateful to give your name the praise for it all. But it's in Christ we ask these things. Amen.
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 Amen. Amen.
And thank you for that, Pastor Hall. Moving forward, I'd also like to commend leadership on the Houston Rental Assistance Program for the public. Currently, right now, if you go to houstonrentassistance.org, there's $15 million currently available for those in need that have suffered economic loss for the months of April and May. I believe the program's for 80% AMI and below. If you do not have access to a computer, the phone number is 832-390-2018. Again, that is 832-390-2018, houstonrentassistance.org. I just want to commend leadership, Mayor Turner, County, everyone working on this, Baker Ripley. I think that this is a phenomenal thing that we've been able to do at a local level. And I highly encourage everyone to
Director Hall?
Yes.
Director, the program, the money's gone.
The funds have been depleted.
90 minutes.
In 90 minutes.
Yes, in 90
At any
minutes.
rate, I want to thank everybody, and I want them to know that, I don't know if it will be replenished, but, I want
I will say we are advocating for more funds, but as of now, the funds have been depleted. But
So-
hopefully more will come soon.
Thank you, Director Stunham. So keep that number and web address in mind in the event that it is. But either way, I commend leadership on putting that program together. I think that it's appropriate, and I think that it's a wonderful thing. Moving forward, also, I'd like to extend a congratulations to our Vice President, Sam DK, who took a new opportunity. It's tough to lose Sam, but I do want to publicly commend him on everything he's done for our organization. He was a phenomenal person to have part of our team. And I do believe we'll be able to reach out to Sam if we need anything as part of our extended family in the future. So thank you, Sam. We really appreciate everything you've done for us. So that being said, that concludes my comments. I'd like to move forward to the committee reports. Item number 5A, Finance Committee. Committee Chair Zeiss.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The Finance Committee did meet on Tuesday and with staff, and we reviewed the finances and the updates for invoicing. Staff will be submitting this week, or may already have submitted this week, the operational invoices for July through December that apply to our new grant agreement with housing. We will also be submitting 5 invoices for houses that was sold under the new home development program. In addition to that, there are 5 invoices in April that have yet to be submitted to city as well. That should be submitted in the coming weeks once all the paperwork from the closing companies have been assembled. I want to thank Conchita, Jen, and Gonzalo for prioritizing these invoices and getting our funds from City Housing. It's very important. Unlike the rental assistance, we haven't run out of money in 90 minutes, so we're still doing well on that angle. We also discussed the timeline for a budget that staff put together and has been working diligently on compiling all of our fixed costs and trying to guess our variable costs for the next fiscal year. On June 4th, we would like to have a budget workshop with the board to go over the budget and review it and work with special projects and the programs committee to see if it matches what they have in line for our next fiscal year. On July 11th, we plan to bring the proposed budget to the board during the regular meeting. for feedback and any adjustments and possible approval. Then if the budget is not approved on the 11th, we plan to have a follow-up workshop on June 25th to address any questions or concerns that were brought up on the 11th. And then on July 9th, if the budget is not approved on June 11th, we plan to bring it up for the regular meeting agenda for final adoption. So you'll have at least 3 or 4 chances to take a look at the budget, ask questions, make improvements, make changes before we are finally asked to adopt it.
That's June 4th, June 11th, and what was the last date?
June 4th, June 11th, June 25th.
Gotcha.
And then July 9th will be the final adoption.
Okay.
We will send out holds for those times.
Yep. And you also have the P&L and the income statement and balance sheet on pages 12 through 16 of your board packet as of April 30th.
Got it.
That concludes my report.
Thank you, Director Zeiss. Moving forward to item number 5B, Program Committee, Committee Chair Lampley.
Yes, Mr. Chairman and board members, the program committee has undergone an extensive process to list and review builders' applications for the first round of inventory lots for sale from our RFQ process in the Sunnyside area. Out of the 32 builders approved, 8 have bid on 13 of the 26 properties that were listed in the inventory, and 7 of the 8 are being recommended for at least one award today. The anticipated total amount of revenue based on the sales of those lots is approximately $311,002. Staff is also working on the second round of lots to be sold in the Sunnyside area and maybe incorporate another area. More to come on the inclusion of additional areas. The next item is the committee has requested and received updated information from non-compliance builder HBDI and is recommending them for approval of a new agreement to extend their timeline to July 30th, 2020, and approve updated plans, specs, pricing as well. HBDI has submitted current permitting status, pictures of lots, reasons for delays to support their request for the agreement. In addition, staff has received multiple requests of all rights, right of first refusal lots that were previously held for individuals and churches and other organizations that may have had some interest. So that they are currently, staff is currently working on a new program to accommodate any lots in the inventory that may not be able to support construction of affordable housing. In addition, staff will be submitting this new program to the committee for review and approval. We're targeting next month to have that submittal. The committee also has extensively reviewed current performers that the builders use to project their cost for construction. At the last committee meeting, there were many suggestions made on how to revise the performer to be more detailed yet accurate. We're working with staff on revisions, and we'll provide it to the committee to the board at the next, the committee will review it, at the next committee meeting on April 28th for review. The committee continues to review documents and items relating to board approved held contracts and are now being executed and following up with non-compliance builders. That completes my report.
Question. How many homes has HBDI completed?
Their current inventory contract, I think it's 5. I made a note here somewhere, 5 homes.
Mm-hmm.
And they're are still, I don't think they've completed any of the 5. They're in progress.
No, they haven't completed any of the 5.
But Doris, can you review their percentage complete? We have some photos in the president's report of the one that's really close to being finished. A couple of them are very closer.
So, Director Collins, 3 of them are at roughly 75 to 80%, and the other 2 on Dyer Street are at 25 to 35%. And they've actually picked up their progress, so those are moving along quite nicely since the last time we've spoken with them.
Great, thank you.
Does that conclude your report, Director
That
Lampley?
concludes my report. Thank you.
All righty, moving forward to item number 5C, Oversight Committee, Committee Chair Castillo.
Thank you, Chair. The Oversight Committee met on May 8th, and we spent a lot of time reviewing recommendations from the financial consultant report, which included recommended additions to compliance in a number of areas. We spent the bulk of our time reviewing compliance around donations that the organization potentially could receive in the future, in addition to how we are going to shore up meeting minutes and develop a policy that is open and transparent and consistent, but also creates a framework for committees moving forward. I will say that this was the beginning of a conversation, and there will be many more as we review further items that were recommended, and we really shore up compliance in a number of areas that will, include updating the board on any proposed changes or revisions. But staff is really zeroing in on it, and the Oversight Committee wants to be a partner with them as they review the report moving forward. We had other items on the agenda related to policies and procedures, but we weren't able to get to them. We really focused on the financial consultant report. So that will concludes my report, unless there are any questions.
Any questions? All righty. Thank you, Director Castillo. Moving forward to item number 6, President's Report. President Haynes.
Thank you. I think I'm unmute. Yes, and I have a few photographs, which I was going to share here at the same time. Hopefully it works. And those of you on the phone, I'm going to be sending these out. These are just photographs to illustrate some of the items. Let's see here. You can all see this. So just a couple of updates. The grants with the city HCDB were approved by City Council on April 1st, which I mentioned last month, but now they have been fully executed. So we are now currently under the new grant agreements. We also had a virtual ribbon cutting for the 3013 Bolt. This was really exciting and a nice closure to the activity. You can see it on YouTube, and you can see there's been 15 views and 1 thumbs up so far of the actual event. So that was pretty exciting. And Mr. Fikes is fully moved in and set up, and it was really nice to meet with Councilmember Shabazz Evans Shabazz with her for that event. We also, we met with Tom McCaslin with a number of you here from the board last month to talk about the new home development program. And we're working on a program comparison as requested by board members that would be distributed to everyone. Another big item last month, or actually it was last week, I was invited to be a part of a group of land banks around the country talking about COVID-19 responses. It's very clear that every state and every land bank may have different types of things that they're following through with, but it was a helpful group of people to possibly be in contact with going forward more regularly. I also, this is not the right slide for this, but I will keep the slide on for a second. But we have been joined by 2 people, one who's familiar to you all. David Benson has started with us more formally as our Director of Organizational Excellence, hoping to really get some of our board processes and schedules really much more aligned, focus really on getting the policies and procedures over the goal line, and working with us on a number of other impact measures and other kinds of things that we want to make sure we're constantly improving on. We are also joined by our new Director of Finance and Accounting, Gonzalo Gonzalez, who's here. He's one of the the photos on your screen. You'll be able to say hello in a minute. And he and Kachita and Jen and I are getting caught up with all of our invoicing activity and putting some of the accounting controls in place that were recommended by the financial consultant, but fine-tuning them for our day-to-day operations. And that's been actually quite exciting. We also started a conversation with the auditors about the next few months so that we can be on time with the audit this year. Just a couple of additional things. Again, the president's report is quite a bit longer, but I'm highlighting things. There have been many vehicles of all kinds. You see some boats in the photograph that have been on our lots for quite a while. And as we've kicked off with the 4 contractors in February, have been doing some first cuts and sort of major work to some of our lots that have been needing attention for a while. And we are posting one of the particular lots, this one in particular with the boats, was noticed by the Department of Neighborhoods, and we have a 10 and then a 30-day process of removing such vehicles. So we are going to have excellently in good shape lots over time. This is not a photograph, but we do have a new property analysis tool that we're taking a look at from a pilot, just to see if we can have a little bit more intelligence on the internal side, looking at both our property management function, but ultimately some analysis and research work, especially as we look at how we can have greater impact in the neighborhoods that we're working in. This pilot will be demonstrated to the board shortly. As we heard from the Oversight Committee, there's many different ways that we're looking at oversight, but what wasn't mentioned was some of the ongoing construction oversight that has been happening from our legal and compliance department, both the hold contracts and the builders that have been in process. These are 2 photographs from the HBDI lots that were recent, so you can see the ones that are closer at 80% or 85% completion and 30%. These were already, this was actually May 3rd. There's something about our stamp on these photos that looks like it's March 5th, but it's actually May 3rd. Then I think I wanted to talk about, a number of our lots will get in a concern. This was a concern by a resident about branches getting dangerously close to their cars. We go out immediately, we assess the situation. Our lot is the one in the middle. We need to really look at the viability of a construction process here, and especially what to do with the tree, beautiful pecan tree. So these are the types of day-to-day functions that we work on with a property management process. And the first couple of months, there have been plenty of tire removals and other kind of debris removal on our lot. Again, this was what was expected as part of this first cut process with a number of the lot maintenance contractors. We are increasing our coordination with the Department of Neighborhoods. This is actually a photo from a couple of months ago, but it's our goal to be more in step with them. And our DFW violations have reduced significantly month to month. And again, we're going to be continuing to track this to stay ahead of that process. That's going to be later on the agenda. We are hoping to move into this facility, Baker Ripley, and we'll talk about that as a board item, but I wanted to share a photo. Before we go to next steps, I'm going to unshare this, if I can figure out how to do that. And we can see, just inventory update. We have 552 properties in our inventory, 243 are holding for housing. 59 homes were sold in 2019 of the HLB Home Building Initiative. Those are mostly hold contracts from prior agreements. 13 homes have been sold to date in 2020. And that 46 are under development across the city. The new HLB Home Initiative that you'll hear more of in the next board item is under full swing. Staff and then the program committee reviewed the requested purchase of 14 lots. And as Director Lampley said, we're already reviewing additional lots to be put up for sale. The next step actually is that we want to both meet with the individual builders to go through the guidelines that the board approved, but also set up a lenders forum and a builders forum. With this first round, we've learned a lot, and we would really like to extend our conversation about the program going forward. I just wanted to mention for new home development program quickly. Actually, I just want to, I'm going back to my screen. 22 houses have been sold in new home development program. It was a great loss to see Sam move on to a great opportunity but he has tagged Jen Allison, who's been on our team for a long time and is a great resource for both property management and real estate sales with her background. And she has been manning the new home development program process at this point. We have 3 under contract to close by June 5th, and we have 1 under an option agreement. We actually have a closing this Friday, tomorrow. 11 homes are listed for sale, and we anticipate receiving more properties from the city in early July, end of June, early July, and are working with the city to have a more accurate construction pipeline reporting process, so we're more aware in advance of what is to come. And as mentioned on the meeting with Tom McCaslin, we continue to look for ways to improve this program, and we would love more feedback from board members on how to do that. Just very briefly, as we have, just so you know, 5 properties that were held by Catholic Charities for a number of years who are not planning to build. We're in the process of repurchasing those 5 properties, which we can do at the amount that we sold them to. This is in Independence Heights. This would be an option for us to be able to put affordable housing in a neighborhood that desperately needs it. That is very exciting. Working really closely with them also on ways we can partner in the future with Catholic Charities. We will be talking quite a bit in the next couple of weeks about some strategic planning work in parallel with our board budget process, but also looking to the future. I know it's a concern of all of ours with our long-term planning, and we hope to have a dedicated session of strategic planning in the next 6 weeks, but it will probably work through the summer, given where we are with getting together and knowing that a lot of strategic planning works quite well when we're all in the same room, safely distanced. So we'll keep you posted on that, budget being the high priority item. So that concludes my report, unless there are any questions.
Any questions for President Haynes? All righty. Thank you for the report. Move forward to item number 7, consideration and possible action to ratify a month-to-month lease for office space with Baker Ripley for Houston Land Bank operations at 4450 Harrisburg. The lease effective date May 18th, 2020, and it's for $4,875 monthly. Is there a motion?
Make a motion to approve.
Motion to approve by Director Zeiss, second by, who did the second?
I did. Marquez.
Director Marquez. All right, sorry.
No problem.
Any discussion?
One question.
Question?
Discussion. Why is it month to month instead of a long-term lease?
That's a great question, Director Marquez. That is the model that they offer leases. They do not offer a longer-term lease. We have the lease actually provides us with a 2-year consistency of rent. So the rent is fixed for that 2-year period of time. It's essentially a co-working space like we have here, and they only offer month-to-month leases. I would anticipate as the building fills out, and certainly we assess whether or not we need more space, and as one of the anchor tenants of that 4th floor, we may be able to negotiate, especially if their model changes. But right now, it's an initial co-working space type agreement, which is month to month.
Okay, just curious.
Yeah, no, and the lease is in your board book, and there's also some additional information as a board memo to describe the process we went through to look at this space. I think this is going to be an extraordinary opportunity for us to expand our partnerships and hopefully even with Baker Ripley, expand our partnership with them in neighborhoods that we work in. They might not be very present. But on top of it, you know, we will have not just our own space, which will be lockable, more secured and more space than we have now, but we also will have access to quite a few public facility and meeting functions within the building, which I think will suit both committee meetings, board meetings, and forums that we have very conveniently. So I think it will be an exciting fresh start. And certainly as a strategic planning topic, what our permanent space and or location might want to be, whether it's something like this to continue or to look at something else, that is absolutely part of our strategic planning process.
How big is the space that we're renting?
It's about, I mean, I want to say it's 1,130 square feet. That's my memory, but it's around 1,100 square feet.
Oh, thank you.
And I went too quickly through those slides, but I'm happy to send you photographs. And we certainly, as we move in, we were very careful to make sure that desks are 6 feet apart and we have all the precautions necessary. Still will be doing a certain amount of remote working, half in the office, half remote for the time being until we have updated orders from the state and the city. But it will be accessible to you all and will certainly provide an opportunity to get together in that space. There's an outdoor terrace where we can be spatially, socially distanced, which would be lovely to see you all.
Any further discussion, questions? All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposed? All righty, lease is approved. Like I mentioned earlier, item number 8 has been pulled because for transparency, we need the name of the builders in the agenda.
Mr. Chair,
Awarding those two. So that has been pulled from the agenda, but Director Collins, you have comments?
just a suggestion, when we bring this back, it would be nice to have who the builders are for each lot and the price of the proposed home.
Correct. That's what I think we're going towards the same thing here on that.
Got it.
So that's been pulled. So moving forward. Question. Director Lampley?
Yes, I have a listing of the builders for each respective lot and the sales price. I don't have
I
the
do.
cost of
Director
the
Lampley, I
homes.
have the exact amount of the proposed houses as well.
Okay. Would the committee consider us moving forward with the reading of the documentation that we have and at least allow staff the opportunity to proceed with negotiating the contracts? We've spent quite a bit of time reviewing these proposals, and I'm of a sense of urgency to get staff actively working in awarding these contracts, and we could bring it back to the board next month for a second reading with all the necessary documentation that you're requesting today.
I believe it's been pulled from the agenda, but Director Collins, if you have any comments regarding that.
Well, I don't have a problem with continuing negotiations, but I want to see all the documents before I vote on it. That's fine. I mean, I don't want to hold your progress up, but if you continue in that same vein and then bring it back for approval, or we can have a special meeting.
Yeah, so Director Collins, to your point, we were just able to confirm the builders with the lots that they actually were awarded. We had to make sure that they still wanted the lots based on the economy, and some of them were slow getting back to us, but we were able to confirm 13. So I provided Director Lampley the 13 this morning with the builders that have been confirmed, and I actually have the exact amount that each house will be that will be being built. So it was our intent today to actually go over and recommend those builders for those lots and then enter into negotiations with them. And then at the next meeting in June, we'll bring the contract back to the board for approval.
In line with what Ms. Galloway said about getting information ahead of time,
yes,
and so we can review it. And so I would advise that you do that.
I concur.
Okay,
Yeah,
I'm fine. I'm fine with that. It's just that we've been working on it for such a long time, but that's an adequate request.
I believe there's nothing standing in the way to negotiating in good faith with the parties. I just think when we bring it to the board for approval, we need the name of the parties and the amounts, just for public notice and transparency.
And there's one last question. That's a lot for sale for $37,000. What price is that going to fall within the affordability when you design the house for that lot?
Yeah, so she's actually proposed to build 2 homes on that lot. And for that one, each home would be 180 to 140.
See, that's important details. Yeah, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's right. God.
Good.
Oh.
I'm done.
So noted, and thank you all.
Sure.
All righty, moving forward. Item number 9 executive session. I actually believe that we've discussed most of this in the open, so I don't believe we need an executive session. So I'd like to just hold this in the open public, again, for transparency. Item number 9B, consideration of possible action regarding program committee recommendations of a new agreement regarding reverted lots for Houston Business Development, Inc., including updated timeline, plan specifications, and pricing. I'm just going to read the contract numbers. It's in the booklets on the agenda. It's contract number 102-41701. That's for the DeWalt, Carver, Dyer, and other Dyer lot and Tower lot. So
moved.
Motion by Director Collins to approve. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Director Castillo. Discussion? Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Aye.
All right, item number 9B is approved.
Aye.
Oh, anybody else? Oh, that was an aye. All right, moving forward. Item number 10, board member comments. Any board member comments?
Have any?
Board Member Galloway, on the email that I sent out to everyone, I was hoping that we can concur to Director Annie to have our minutes and board package ready at least a minimum of 5 business days prior to our meeting, so we'll have time to peruse them or get with the chair if we have any concerns. To add, amend have addition to the agenda or whatever, be posted.
I agree, and I've expressed that to President Haynes. I believe with COVID, everything's kind of been in a flurry. So we're going to be very, very mindful of getting adequate notice to not only the chair, but the board so that we have all materials going into any meeting. So thank you, Ms. Galloway. I appreciate it.
Okay, and I want to put on the record to thank Sam for all his work that he did in assisting us, and that we really appreciate his service, and we want to welcome aboard the newcomers that our President Ann has hired, Mr. Benson, and did I hear someone else as well? That she
Our accounting manager, Mr. Gonzalo.
Oh, okay, great, wonderful. We hope to be meeting those in person, although I know Mr. Benson. All right, thanks.
All right. Any other comments?
Chairman, this is Courtney. I just wanted to mention, once we get out of COVID-19, hopefully we can maybe do a happy hour or something like that with the board and Sam, I think in honor of his service. But, transitioning at this time with us not being able to do a meeting and things of that nature, hopefully we can keep it in mind and maybe over the summertime to get together.
Mhm.
An excellent recommendation. That'd be a very merry happy hour, definitely.
Need a second? Does she need a second on that?
Mr. Chairman, Pastor Hall.
Pastor Hall.
Listen, I want to, in the midst of all that's going on, I certainly understand all of the implications and the hardships that go along with leadership during this time. And so I wanted to simply say an encouraging word to President Haynes and their staff and all of you guys who are keeping the committees going. Vincent, Mario, you guys, I really appreciate the work that you've done. Sam going on to something greater. I just believe that all of the effort that's continuing deserves a pat on the back, and I wanted to have that chime in. So thank you so much for your leadership. Appreciate you.
Thank you, Pastor Hall.
Thank you.
I concur. Everybody's been doing a great job. We've been working really hard, so we've got a lot of more work to do. So any other comments?
Well, I'm gonna leave you with this comment, and I hope nobody faints. In regards to the boat project, it turned out great, and the facade is beautiful. And I hope most of the homes that we build will have a variety of facades. And
Thank you, Director Collins. You're absolutely right. And President Haynes, thank you so much for pushing on that, pushing hard. Staff for pushing on that. It turned out very, very well. So I do believe, if I could give a round of applause for staff on that one, because hold on, I think I can. There we go.
Oh, man.
Good job. So, now, any other comments? Trying to liven the mood here a little bit.
That was an expensive applause.
It was actually free. So,
All that fancy equipment.
This is
Yes,
Hines.
Chairman.
I just wanted to clarify with the council member Galloway that I will follow up on her question and look into that scenario and make a recommendation about the vote.
Right.
Follow up.
Right.
thank you, Gracie.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Mr. Chairman.
Congratulate everybody on a very efficient board meeting. Very good.
Director Lampley, did you have something you wanted to say?
Yes, I did.
Okay.
Just wanted to add in comments. Earlier in the year, earlier in the year, maybe it was late last year, but we had scheduled a tour of builders' homes in progress. And I would like for us to put that back on the agenda, particularly with the new builders that are coming online, and just so give all board members, and particularly new board members, an opportunity to look at the products that the builders are putting on the ground. For the most part, the properties that I've had an opportunity to review are excellent properties in these communities that desperately need an insurgent of new housing. And I truly believe that the product we're putting on the ground is complementary to the community. And so we all should get a chance to look at our builders' product.
Yeah, that's a great idea. I would actually love to tour some of these builders' homes and check out firsthand the quality that they're putting out there. So that's a great idea, Lampley.
Thank you.
Director Lampley, it's Jennifer Allison. How are you?
Fine. How are you?
Good. I'm fine. With regard to NHDP homes, in lieu of COVID, if anyone would like to meet me out there in Acres Homes, I will meet you out there. I just need notice of when you're available. And we can, of course, go in separate cars, but I can meet anyone out there at any time.
And we were hoping to do the tour that we had originally talked about, like a bus tour, obviously when COVID's safe, with the strategic planning process. And if we can't get all of us together, we would do some sort of a virtual tour and everyone could be in their own cars as a convoy. So.
Yes, great idea.
So anyone just let me know. I'm more than happy to meet you.
Will do.
Thank you, Jen.
Okay.
Any other comments?
Mr. Chair, I have a comment.
All right, go ahead.
I just want to say how excited I am for our new office space working in the Baker Ripley headquarters. I've worked a lot with them, and they do such great work across the city. And I think there's a lot of potential for synergy and new partnerships that could come just from being in a space with them, sharing that space, building a relationship. So I think it's going to be a good step forward for us, and excited to see where it goes.
Great.
And Mr. Chair, I had one comment. I wanted to say first, hello. I needed to eat my lunch, and that's why my camera was off. But I also wanted to clarify a statement. I don't remember which director said it. The Rice Management Company is not greater than the Houston Land Bank. They provided a great opportunity to say I'm very happy and proud of him. But I just wanted to clarify that.
Yes, the Houston Land Bank is #1 or #2, subject only to your department.
For the record, right?
But either way, congrats, Sam. Good for you. Any other comments? All right, hearing none, can I get a motion? Item number 11, motion?
So moved.
All right, everybody have a good afternoon. Thank you.
Good afternoon. Y'all have a great evening.
Y'all have a great one.
Everyone.